In today's video, guys, I will be showcasing you the 4-2-1-3 formation and why it is so goddamn good in this game. This formation, though, is all about fluid movement, try to go quickly, but also trying to utilize that space with the counterattacks. Whether you're on the attack or defending, the 4-2-1-3 gives you the flexibility to rule out your opponent and adapt if you can use it in the right way. So let's start with the defense then. We have goalkeeper ++ on Buffon. He's starting in goal for us. We have a very solid base with 4 defenders here, who is Dalot, Maldini, Haaland, and Theo Hernandez. The key here is the right back in defense. We have him on fullback and balanced, and that's basically because we don't want him to run forward as much as the left back. Meanwhile, the left back then on this side, who's going to be Theo Hernandez, will run a bit more forward, and that's basically because we have wing back on his roles. This wing back role also helps me press the opponent a bit higher up the pitch, because obviously Theo will be higher up and causing my opponents to do errors and try to attack from these kind of loss of ball possessions. Most important playstyle for me in terms of the defenders is going to be, first of all, Bruiser, which I think is a great playstyle, especially for the fullbacks, because you shove the players off the ball easier. The center backs then, you have 2 playstyles. I will say it's intercept and actually block, because intercept manages to get a higher rate of successful tackles when you're around opposition striker, for example. It's easier for the center backs to take the ball, but also block help your defenders actually blocking more shots in general, just as it basically sounds. So the key here for the CDMs is to have 1 on deep lying playmaker in build up and 1 on holding. Deep lying playmaker will make one of the CDMs go a bit more forward, but also help a bit more in build up, of course. And the other one, who is on holding, will basically be that kind of anchor, the one that can go a bit forward, but also a bit back. I don't think box to box is it, but I think holding is working very, very well for the young, and then deep line playmaker for Douglas Luiz in this case. The cam then is just going to be on playmaker. He will sit in that kind of pocket in between the opponent's CMs and will always trying to move into the pockets of space and try to find an easy pass to him, then trying to find the strikers after this. Up to the wingers then, also a very important feature. It's going to be inside forward, because we want these wingers to tuck into the pitch, so we have a closer lane to try to combine with Simons, for example, but also finding passes to Liam Delap, who is the main striker up top. And then for the main striker, Liam Delap, he will be on advanced forward. I think he does by far the best role in this year's game. I feel like that he's making a lot of good AI runs, and overall that kind of role for him is super important. So starting off from the back, we have Buffon. He has 4 reach plus playstyle, and that means that he is better at catching long shots against you, and I concede a lot of long shots in general, so I thought, okay, Buffon is going to be in my goal. For the fullbacks, the thing I'm looking for is basically the playstyle Bruiser, because Bruiser makes the player better when he's coming closer to an attacker. So for example, if my Theo Hernandez is getting close to my opponent's Graham Hansen, he will shove Hansen off the ball basically because he has Bruiser. So Bruiser, great playstyle, especially for right back and left back, I would say. For defenders, you're mainly looking for 2 players that are really quick, especially in the 4-2-1-3. You sometimes will be a bit vulnerable in defense, so it's really important to have 2 fast center backs. And in my case, this is Haaland and Maldini. For the CDMs, I would say try to look for players that have ping pass or incisive pass. If we look at my players that I had, Douglas Luiz have both pinged, especially in gold, and incisive in white. Then we have incisive pass in gold, tiki-taka in gold, long ball, and then pinged as well. And in the 4-2-1-3, you will look to counterattack your opponent. I will show examples of this later in the video. Later on for the cam then, you need someone that has incisive pass. Super important. The incisive pass makes the triangle passes so much more accurate, especially playing them on the ground. So that's why we want this. And Xavi Simons in this case, he has incisive in white and tiki-taka in white as well. Also finesse shot in gold, which means that if he's getting into the box, he will look to score a few Trivelas inside there as well. For the wingers, you're mainly looking for pace. I mean, Mbappe and Hansen, both of them are super rapid. And for the striker, basically looking for pace as well. But also, it actually helps a lot if you have a player that's actually controlled lengthy. And this means that the player is going to run onto the ball, especially when you're trying to play these through balls, and he will catch the defenders and then have a one-on-one situation. So in the background, we'll play Antonio Radelia, who is currently one of the best pro players from Germany. And he currently has Theo Hernandez very high up here on my own half. I'm in the black kits, he is in the white kits. He's currently playing for Stuttgart. So Antonio Radelia likes to attack a lot with the fullbacks, and especially I think you guys can also understand me when I say this. A lot of players like to push their fullbacks up to try to attack down the wing. So the thing we do then is that we try to counter by using the space that the fullbacks are giving up after they are high up the pitch. So Theo Hernandez here finds Reinders, finds the ball to Rashford, and when he is losing possession here, look at the minimap. I have a 3v2 just because my wingers are really high up on my opponent's half. Basically, because the 4-2-1-3 will make you counterattack your opponent in a very good way. So I need 1 pass from my CDM, and this is also important. Douglas Luiz has ping pass, gold, which means his R1 passing will be the best on the game. His passing are traveling with faster speed and are way more accurate. So when I get to Xavi Simons here, or to Del up here, I basically have a 3v3. Now, I can play Mbappé in behind with an L1 triangle, but I can also play it to Graham Hansen. So these opportunities you will get loads by using the 4-2-1-3 formation. And from this, I didn't really create anything, but you see how much space I will get by using the 4-2-1-3 because the counterattacks in this formation are simply amazing. And once again here, this is going to be another example of Antonio Radella using his fullbacks to his advantage. You see that he's pushing up his Theo Hernandez, and when I see this here, I try to be aggressive because I know if I manage to get the ball here, you know, my attacker is just standing at the halfway line, basically ready to go. Of course, they won't help you as much in defense, but as I said, this is a counter-attacking formation. So the thing we like to do, you see, we automatically have a 4v3 here. So the thing I do to Xavi Simons, I send him by pressing L1 on my controller, which means that he's pointing his arm forward and he's creating this run. So Graham Hansen can just run down the byline, finding this pass to Del up. Here again, I could have taken a bit more space here going forward. In the end, I think he defends this pretty well. But overall, you see how much space I'm gaining from playing the 4-2-1-3 because, as I said, the counter-attacking options in this formation is simply unbelievable. So in the 4-2-1-3, also super important. As I said now a couple of times, it's mainly for counter-attacking opportunities. So the thing we do then, we try to use the fullback to our advantage. So I'm going to do a play lock in between his line here to break the line here. And this also helps with Douglas Luiz. I was talking about the ping pass for the CDMs before. The R1 pass just travels at a much higher speed and are way more accurate. So I do a play lock in between here, basically because Mbappé gets into this pocket of space and he needs to basically second guess them. What is going to happen? Of course, I can play Theo Hernandez, but I can also play the Lap here in space. The thing I do then, I play the Lap, I play a 1-2 between the Lap and Mbappé, finding the back of the net, and a fantastic goal from Liam Delap, and just finding that combination between the striker and the winger, but also trying to involve my fullback a bit in the attack to try to have an extra runner, so my opponent needs to think about what's going to happen. Also, one thing that I don't think a lot of people will mention to you talking about the 4-2-1-3 is that the wingers are of course standing very, very high, but it also generates this kind of pressure because the wingers, as you see, are super high up, and that means that we can put some good pressure on our opponent's own half, which I do here. It makes a very, very stressed pass out. I do a ball roll around Van der Sar, finding the back of the net, and we're automatically 2-0 up, basically only because of this formation, the 4-2-1-3, having these kind of opportunities. And this is why the 4-2-1-3 is, at the moment, the best formation in EFC 25. Yes, we concede, unfortunately, 2-1, but the thing why we are playing our wingers on inside forward is because the lines and the movement of the players are way better than just playing winger. So look now how Mbappé is tucked into the pitch. He would be way more to the wing if I were to play him on winger. Look at Graham Hansen as well. She is on inside forward, and this is basically why we want to play inside forward and not winger at this moment in time. So I finally am the up here again. I have a pretty good chance to score. If I green time this far post, I might be able to score, but Hansen is on inside forward, which means that she will tuck in a bit more, and we have an easy pass from Leander Lapp, finding Graham Hansen once again. So if we play that back, you see that I'm trying to take space inside, finding Liam Delap, then I have an extra pass to Graham Hansen, opening up just because she is on inside forward, and we scored to make it 3-1 in this game, and getting that 2-goal lead back in a very important game. We have another game against another German pro player, and I'm also using the 4-2-1-3 here to my advantage. These two players were playing kind of the same way. But it's basically another counterattack, and you will feel this in the most ways why the 4-2-1-3 is so goddamn good, because it's mainly the counterattacks. Here again though, he was using his fullback to maximum advantage as much as he could. So I was trying to be aggressive with my fullback, and you see how much space I have. Automatically a kind of a 3v3. Just by winning the ball with one player, have one pass to one player, and I'm automatically almost in behind. This is why I'm telling you once again, 4-2-1-3, unbelievable at the moment. Hopefully they don't patch it. Good play lock here to Liam Delap. Here again, I think Liam Delap should be able to do a better cross here, to be honest, to Mbappé. Doesn't really matter though, as Mbappé heads it towards goal, we get the bounce back with Liam Delap, having an open net, and scores to make it 1-0, basically from a counter-attack. Now I try to explain how you basically attack in the 4-2-1-3, and trying to show you guys how you build up using the fullbacks, especially going for counters, because that's the main area where we're trying to focus at. How you defend then. It's super important to tuck in your fullbacks to make the team as compact as possible, because then it will be harder for the opponents to score, obviously. So you see, from this opportunity, for example, when he gets the ball here with his CM soon, he gets the ball here. You see how I drag down Simons there to basically cut off that easy passing lane to number 8. So the thing I do after I drag down Xavi Simons is that I want to tuck in Douglas Luiz to prevent him, Barreya in this case, from finding this pass to Amiri. So here, he doesn't really have any pass open, basically because Douglas Luiz is in a great position. He is covering off this kind of like gap in between Theo and Haaland. I have De Jong, who is sitting on number 8 at the moment, and I have Erling Haaland, who's playing center back for me, who is covering off number 10. So the thing he does a rushed decision, and from this, I try to attack as quick as I possibly can. And you see, from this position, we are maybe in a 4v4, 5v4, because we went quickly. But obviously, it's super important finding the balance, but you see how I'm finding these kind of quick passes, basically because of the 4-2-1-3 formation. Once again here though, great defending in the background. Basically, as I said, just try to tuck in as many players as you can and try to make it compact for the opponent. Yes, it doesn't matter if he has the ball on the wing, because from the wing in this game, you don't really have a lot of threats. The only threat you basically have to score is the finesse or Trivela, for example. But in this case, Amiri, as you see here, Douglas Luiz, well defended. It doesn't matter, we didn't get the ball, doesn't matter. We just tuck Douglas Luiz in again. And once again from here, we tried to go quickly. Now we couldn't, but we will be getting these kind of opportunities all the time. So if we see once again him playing, we just tuck in the players, trying to read what opposition is going to do. Again, he sends his fullback, which means that I will have a good chance of going forward. Now again, this shouldn't really go in, but I still think that's good defending, but overall he did that pretty well with Dalot as well. I wanted to showcase this as well. This is going to be the last clip for the video, and it's going to be about how you played a bit more slower in the 4-2-1-3. You basically want to use your wing back as much as you can and trying to use kind of the wing here. Why we want to have incisive pass, pinged pass and tiki-taka, for example, is basically because of this goal that we scored. We find Xavi Simons, and this area he goes into because he has playmaker on his role. And when I find this upwards pass towards De Jong, I send De Jong by pressing L1 towards him. I have so much space here. I can take a touch, I can do a Trivela, but the thing I do, De Jong has tiki-taka in gold, which means that his first time passes on this game are great. And you see here, finding Mbappe, he also moves the keeper, because I think he was expecting a finesse. Here again though, I have an easy finish at the first post here with Kylian Mbappe, finding the back of the net, scoring because it's green timed, and a fantastic, well-worked goal, because we were building it up a bit slow and try to take the slower approach. That's super, super important, trying to find a kind of a balance, because you can't go forward all the time, but you need to be able to play this formation in a slow way as well. And if we look back at this attack without pausing it, it's just fantastic. He just goes from player to player, finding Mbappe into the back of the net and scores to make it 2-1 in this game. So now it's time for you guys to create some magic yourself in Weekly League, Rivals, or even against your friends. But before we end, don't forget to subscribe. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. I would appreciate your subscribe a lot. Don't forget to like the video, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, boys. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.